Hi, my name is Rebecca Sackett. Today I am doing a video on using a pin input in PowerApps to place a signature on a document that can be printed or emailed. I'm saving mine on SharePoint list. You don't have to do it this way, but I went ahead and set one up. Just kept it real simple. I've got a title, description, name, that's a people field, and signature, which is going to be a multi-line plain text field. I've got name 2 and signature 2, but we're not going to use that. I just needed it for my end. So, and then you create the Word document however you want it laid out, because we're going to use this with our flow. So this is get all your formatting correct, and just put a text field for any place that you want to replace that with something. And under developer, you're going to click on the plain text control and go ahead and replace that, and it'll allow us to use it in flow. For the signature, you'll just click wherever you want it to go and click on the picture content control and insert it, and then kind of format it however you'd like, and then save this Word document. You're going to want to save it either in SharePoint or on OneDrive. I saved it in SharePoint, so I've already saved it there, and then we're going to go over to PowerApps. I am saving mine on SharePoint because with the one that we're actually using this for in the field, it's going to have a lot of fields. So it's a lot easier for me. You do not have to do it that way. You could actually pull all the data through with your flow and just have text inputs and never save it on SharePoint if that's what you wanted. It's kind of a preference. So, but for mine, it was just a lot easier to do it to SharePoint. So that data stored. We actually need to be able to pull it up later and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and connect to it. I've got a form here. We're going to make it a new form and tie to that list that I did. And we'll go ahead and delete what we don't need and just kind of keep it simple. I'm not going to do any fancy design stuff or any of that today. So we don't need the attachments. We'll delete that, and the signature 2, name 2, since we're not going to do that right now. Go ahead and delete those out. All right, let me hide this and we're going to stretch that out. And then we're going to do a little something here with the signature card. So we're going to unlock that and delete everything in there except for the title part. And then we're going to go ahead and insert a pin input inside this data card. So we can kind of drag it, get it whatever size we'd like. And then we're going to change the update for that data card to the pin input.image. All right, go ahead and pull that up, and you also need to insert an image outside of the form that is the same thing. That's the pin input.image. You can make it visible, not visible, it doesn't matter, but we need this for the flow. I actually work it into my design, so I typically make it where they hit one button and it makes this visible, and they can kind of review one time and then submit. But you can just hide it, it's totally up to you. We're going to go ahead and do the submit form and just take it home. I like to go to another screen when I submit, just to make sure everything went through good. And the flow is actually going to be triggered off of the forms on success. And the reason is that I use the ID number, the auto ID that's created on the SharePoint list, and it won't be generated until the form's submitted. So that's why we put it there. But I'm just going to go ahead and build the flow first, and then we'll come back and finish the rest of the app. So PowerApps is going to be our trigger. And then we're going to just give it a quick name here. All right, and then the first step is going to be compose. And this part is going to be what we want to pull in that auto ID that's generated off that first form submittal. And that is so that further down the line here that we can use get item as opposed to get items for the SharePoint list information. So we're going to ask that in PowerApps. And then the next thing we're going to do is add a condition, and it's going to be if 1 equals 2 or A equals C or anything like that. And then under yes, we're going to say send the email. This is not going to send the email, so it doesn't matter who you put it to or what you put for the subject and body. You just have to put something in there so that it doesn't have the red. And then this is going to be helping us get the signature formatted to the right format that we need to save it and use it other places. So the only part that really matters here is attachments. We're going to ask for the attachment name and then ask for the attachment content in PowerApps. So those are the only two we actually really care about on this. And then below that, not inside the yes, but below, we're going to go to OneDrive and create a file. You could use SharePoint if you want, but I use OneDrive. We're going to create it and then delete it, so it doesn't matter really where you put it. I have a folder that's called temporary that I use for this type of stuff, and it's a good place that I know nothing should ever be in there. Everything that gets saved there gets saved and then deleted. So we're going to go and name this. You can call it what you want. It just needs to be .jpeg though, so I'm just going to call mine signature.jpeg. And we want that same one for the attachment content that we've already used. You're not going to do a new one. So, and then we're going to use the get item. This is going to pull ours from the SharePoint, and we're going to refer back to that variable that's up top. And this is going to make sure we pull in just that one item of the last form submittal. So we'll connect to the SharePoint list that I have, and then the ID here is going to be that variable up above. So we want the output. And we're going to do another new step. And this time we're going to be getting the file content from OneDrive. And this is getting the one that we created the file for up above. So we're going to do the ID of create file signature. And we need a new step. Now we're going to go ahead and populate our Word document. So this is going to be looking at that template. And like I said, you could do it on OneDrive, but I saved mine on SharePoint. So I'm going to go to my SharePoint site where I saved it, which is the same site that my list is on, and then find my document, my Word document there. And I need to actually select that one file. Clearly not the right site. I'm going to try this again. This one here. Alright, redo that, documents. And let's see. Okay, here's my document that I saved. Okay, so now you can see all the fields that I set in the document to pull in the data. So this one here with the weird numbers, this is going to be where my signature goes. So this is going to be my file content that I just got above. And that is going to replace the image with the signature. So I'm just going to click in here and select it. And then the rest of these are I'm going to select from the get item. These are pulling off my SharePoint list. So I have my title and description and then the name, all of that I'm going to pull over. We'll just ignore the name too because we're not using that. And the spot for the second signature because we're also not using it. So we'll just leave those empty. Alright, we're going to add another new step here, and this is going to create file, and this is doing the Word document. So we're going to create a file for that Word document using the OneDrive, and this one will also be deleted for mine. You won't have to do it that way, but that's how mine is going to do because I just want it to attach back to my SharePoint list. So you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it signature dot. It just needs to be a .docx though. And then the file content is going to be that Word one, and then we're going to convert that created file, which is why I'm using OneDrive. This one works good. Convert the file to a PDF. So we're going to select the create file here for the ID, and then the target type will be PDF, and just leave that. And then we're going to go ahead and add one more step here where we're going to add the attachments. We're attaching this document back to our SharePoint list. You do not have to do this. You could do several other things with it. You could save the document somewhere. You could, at this point, email the document. I just wanted it all put right back in the same spot. So, but this is just kind of personal preference. It would work the same way as everything else. So we're doing the converted file here, and we're attaching that back to the ID that we had from the get item. And then I'm going to delete several things that I created just for this, but I'm going to put a delay here because sometimes it takes a little while to add that attachment, so I don't want them to be deleted before my attachment got put on there. So I just do a quick 2-minute delay, and then after that it's going to delete the signature file that we created, because like I said, that was just a temporary thing, and it's going to also, we're going to delete the file that we created on OneDrive for the actual document, because now that I've already done something with it, I don't need those two files. If you were just saving the file in OneDrive and you don't want to delete it, you just wouldn't do this part, but I need to delete it because I've already done something else with it. I don't want it in two places. So, okay, so now we've got to delete each of those, and that is let's see, I think that's the last thing. So let's go ahead and save it. And then go to PowerApps, and we've got to finish the rest of it. We've got to go to the on success and pull in the information that we need over here. So now we're going to do on success and action flow, and we're going to select that flow that we just created. And then it's going to kind of give us hints on what information we need to pull over there. So run, and then it's asking for the variable auto ID, which is going to be our form, last submit, and then the ID. And then it's asking for the attachment name. You can name this whatever you want, put it in quotes. Sign.jpg is what I'm going to call it. And then the attachment content is going to be the image, the one that's outside of our form, image1.image. And that's it. So now we've got that here. I'm going to go ahead to the home screen and just put a quick button in that makes this a new form each time I go to that screen. And then go ahead and navigate to the signature screen. And let's test it. So go to the screen. We've got a new form when we get here. We're just going to put in our title, whatever we want it to be. And then the description, to make sure everything's pulling in where it's supposed to. And then this is a people field, so as long as you start typing the first 3 letters, you can select it. Do a cool signature, which is really hard to do with a mouse. You can see that image that's showing up below, and then hit the button, and it should have ran the flow once that form's submitted. So let's go over here and look. No red X's, that's good. Here's the last item I just added, and there's a document. So let's look at it, and ta-da, signature there. This is just still like that because I didn't leave those out. We didn't use the second part, so that's fine.